I saw a video earlier today of a man warning young men to ensure that they are equally yoked when they decide to get married, and not to fall prey to the eyes and the lust of the flesh in terms of just choosing somebody who's attractive. Because, and this was his reasoning, he wanted to go see a movie with his family that was Christian based. I think it's called King of Kings. And his wife didn't want to go. So he took his children. And after he took his children, I guess it really bothered him that he sat there by himself with his kids and he wanted his whole family to go. So he made the video. And there were a couple things that popped out to me that was wrong about the video. Namely, one, you airing out your dirty laundry. But then two, the main thing is that's not what unequally yoked is, right? Like, we have this big misconception that unequally yoked is you don't do exactly what I do. You're not saved exactly like I'm saved. And you want people to essentially fall in line as kind of a carbon copy of you rather than being the individual that God called them to be. Unequally yoked is about the calling on their life in the sense of, are they saved? Do they want to worship God? Do they want to serve God? Do they want to, as a husband, do you want to submit to God and lead your family? As a wife, do you want to submit to your husband as he submits to God? Are you listening and reading and studying the word? Like, that's what it is. It's those fundamental principles, not the day-to-day, how do you interact and how do you move around within your life? Because all in all, it sounds like he's basically saying, I don't think she's saved because she doesn't want to show her servitude to God or display the way that she loves God in the exact same way I do. Or she's not super interested to watch this movie in the same way I am. The other piece about that is, as a man, you are the leader of your household, meaning especially through the biblical texts and the ordination of the leadership and responsibility you have as a husband and a father, you are the leader of that household. If you are supposed to be leading and you decide, all right, I'm gonna just let her do what she want to do, instead of trying to convince her or at least explaining to her why you feel like she should come to the movie or whatever, and she rejects it, all right, cool, she's not submissive. That's a sin on her part. But at the same time, there has to be that effort on your part to convey why. You can't just be like, hey, let's go to this movie because I said so. Like, it doesn't work that way. She is still a human being. She's still an individual. And if God doesn't force us to do things the way he wants us to do them without us giving him our consent upon salvation, you can't do that to your wife either. But you are to lead by example. And as time goes, there are things that will rub off on your wife if you're doing what you're supposed to do. And for me, one of the things, especially being married, I've noticed is when I got together with my wife, we were both Christian. We both believed in God, believed in Jesus, and we were both on the same path of salvation. It just wasn't looking exactly the same. And in me trying to correct that, and I'm going to squeeze this and I'm going to move this and twist this knob and this, that, and the third, we wound up getting into it a lot. When if I had allowed her to just watch me and coaxed her to, hey, let's just read the Bible. Let's just go be in the area where God is and allow God to work on her. It gave her the autonomy to change in the way that God wanted her to change. And some of the things that I was upset that she wasn't doing in the beginning from a Christian standpoint, or what I believed was the right way to be a Christian standpoint, she wound up picking up over time. And there were ways that I had about myself that I was super anal about, that once I got around her enough to really realize it wasn't as deep, I realized it wasn't as deep, right? There are sometimes we put these extra rules in place. We Pharisee and Sadducee ourselves so much that we don't realize that a lot of what we're doing is overburdening the word and overburdening ourselves. Now, he was correct when he said, don't be unequally yoked, right? Like, you don't want to get so caught up in how a woman looks that you negate her character, that you negate whether or not she's saved, truly saved, right? Not just playing church, not just participating in the service. Like, she needs to be truly saved. She needs to have her own prayer life with God. She needs to have her own calling, her own whatever. Like, those are things that she is supposed to have. But God wouldn't put a woman in your life for you to marry, or a man in your life for you to marry, that wasn't going to challenge you and grow you spiritually. Should a wife be submissive? Yes. Should a man be submissive to God? Yes. And should you guys submit yourselves to each other when it comes to things of the body? Yes. But when it comes down to, does your praise, does your worship look exactly like mine? That is nowhere in the Bible. And we got to stop pushing that as the narrative of equally yoked.